right, guys. So our next topic is going to be jumping over into the world of the DC. I don't know if it's EU or DC Universe. Let's call it DC Universe on HBO Max. I guess we'll call it that because the long-awaited Green Lantern series has officially gotten its green light for HBO Max. There's a little bit of interesting news with this though, guys. That I don't know really how I feel about it, so I'm gonna talk it over with you guys because we haven't really talked about this like at all. So and for everyone else out there too, you would think the series of Green Lantern would focus on the popular Green Lantern character, maybe a Hal Jordan, maybe a John Stewart, maybe you would assume, but according to this article, it's on Deadline. It's going to be focusing on a multitude of Green Lanterns, including Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and Alan Scott. Now, Alan Scott, like the article even says, like, yeah, he was the first Green Lantern, but like,
did that take place like a long time ago, though?
yeah, it was like
1940. You're talking 1940s.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Silver Age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
golden
Age. Yeah, rather.
That's
Silver
crazy
Age
too
was
because of like his
stuff.
technology and stuff. People were like, "What?"
Well, I like Alan Scott too because like he has a cool suit. He wears a cape, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
I remember
he's
seeing. Yeah, I know
GL
what he
with a
looks
cape.
like.
his weakness was wood back in the day.
What?
Not yellow, which was the common Green Lantern weakness.
Yeah,
but wood.
Wood.
So
Wood.
Yeah.
Well, and Green Lantern used to just be like a side guy for Green Arrow too, if I'm not mistaken, right? His first appearance was in Green Arrow comic, right? Or did like later on he started showing up?
Later on, they did a team. Like there was a very popular run in the 70s between Neil Adams and the name of the author is escaping me right now, but it was called Hard Traveling Heroes, where Green Lantern and Green Arrow teamed up and kind of did this cross country tour and like there were a lot of social issues, racism, other things that came up that they addressed on this.
Didn't they do something with like drug addiction too at some point with that?
They did.
That's what I'm thinking.
Green Arrow's sidekick Speedy was addicted to heroin.
Yeah.
And that all came
Weird
about.
that somebody named Speedy would be addicted to that. But
yeah, you'd think it'd be something else.
Little on the nose there. DC.
Yeah, I was thinking you were going to say something else, but
yeah,
I digress.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, he has a long history with Green Arrow,
right?
But he's also been he was 1940s. Jake Garrett's the Flash. 1940s. Alan Scott was Green Lantern, whose weakness was wood.
That's so weird.
And he was part of the Justice Society of America. And
So wait a minute.
You can take a 2x4.
Give me a second. I'm sorry. Give me a second to compose. So you're saying right now, I don't know how this didn't come to my head sooner. Alan Scott's a gay man, and his weakness is wood.
Okay.
This is what they were writing.
He's only been gay he's only been gay the past decade or so. So that's
be that as it may. That's a deep cut right there.
Even aside, I mean, like, could you just take like a 2x4 to the guy and like
yeah, right. like stand back, I'm in a lumber yard, my dude.
That's what I'm saying. Meet me at the lumber
Your
yard.
galactic powers of green energy do nothing to my wood.
Yeah,
my
specifically
wood.
Maple birch or something.
It was a very very odd weakness to give him, but hey, it was the 40s. It was an odd time.
Dude can't go much of anywhere then if he can't go in the woods.
Like,
and you got to think back then, a lot of stuff was made out of wood. I mean, you couldn't even open your damn dresser.
He can't go in house. How weak is this? Like Kryptonite week? Like how is it?
So like I mean,
that
like
makes no sense.
Basically Vampire Week. Like you stake him, you're going to get through his force shield. Like if he tries to block something, if you shoot a wooden bullet at him,
the lantern energy was weak. This is why Jeff Johns reinventing Green Lantern was this. Okay, this is why. See what they were doing before that with Green Lantern? And I got no offense, but they didn't know what the hell they were doing with these characters. It makes no sense. But my main thing is with this, back to this show, and kind of like I was saying before, you'd think that they would use the Hal Jordan or the John Stewart, because I think we may have touched on it before. when the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie came out, in my mind, it was a mistake to have it be Hal Jordan because Jon Stewart at that time was the more popularized Green Lantern. So I feel like a lot of people, when that movie came out and they saw Ryan Reynolds playing Green Lantern, they were already kind of confused because everybody's Green Lantern at that point in time, especially for kids who were watching the Justice League, the animated series and everything, like Jon Stewart was their Green Lantern, and he was a main Green Lantern at the time, just pretty much in general. So I don't know. I just find it kind of odd that they would spend who knows how much money on this show because I imagine, I mean, this is a Green Lantern show. They're going to be focusing on multiple Green Lanterns, which theoretically speaking means they're going to have a lot more effects to some capacity. So I don't know how it makes a whole lot of sense, in my mind at least, for them to focus on the lesser known Green Lantern on such an expensive show. Like I feel like they should like I would definitely would love to see the other Green Lanterns that are less popularized, of course, but I don't think for the show it's a very good idea because
Okay.
like Green Lantern itself
People-
isn't.
Your average fan isn't really going to like understand it. I don't know. I can
Like
be wrong.
I'm I'm a little torn. I completely agree that it's hard to market and promote a show when when people don't see the heroes that they recognize. When
Yeah.
people don't see a Jon Stewart or um, Hal Jordan in it.
Be like,
Uh,
it's like they're doing the spin-off before the main show.
sure, but on the other hand, if this is going to be a Green Lantern core show where they are focusing on the core as a whole and multiple characters and not really having a lead protagonist, then having Hal or John be part of the group, you fall into that trap of just making the show about them and not
that's true.
giving every character equal play, or at least taking the time to focus and get everybody their own character development instead of it having be the Hal Jordan Green Lantern show. It truly can be the Green Lantern core because
That's a good point.
people don't have as much invested in these maybe ancillary characters.
Well, and eventually they will be, depending on how the show goes
Sure.
and everything like that. It brings more light and popularity to like other characters that have been Green Lanterns.
Sure. My biggest concern is how are they going to explain why John and Hal aren't there? And are they
Yeah.
going to like is it going to be the again we've talked about in previous episodes where they allude to Batman in Smallville episodes, but they never say the name Bruce Wayne or they never say the name Batman, and you have these very weird forced in jokes that they leave for the audience. I just hope that they don't do that. I hope they have some reasonable explanation for why they're not there, or at least bring them in later on. I don't know.
Right. That's the thing too, because I totally understand and like what you're saying. I just feel like you could easily write it in a way to where like you're like they're in the show, they're like quote unquote like you could make them the main characters and it could just be I mean in the end I would have much rather preferred like an older Hal Jordan and then Jon Stewart gets his ring and it's like a buddy cop lethal weapon kind of thing with Hal Jordan showing Jon Stewart the ropes. That's where I
Definitely.
wanted it to go. And then have the other guys there as well. Like have your Guy Gardner, have them all there, and they all do their thing. Because you can set up if you want to focus on, the more ancillary lanterns, you can easily set that kind of thing up where Hal and John have to go do X mission and now like the other guys have to go do this mission, and like
Yeah.
they're both on you separate them, you tell like a 2 arc story for each one what they're doing. Like you could easily have done it that way. Probably how I preferred it being done. Like I said, at this point, I just don't think it's a good idea for show, like marketing wise. Like it could still be a
Sure.
great show. It's just
I mean, the idea of the Green Lantern's pretty popular. People know what that is.
it's not though, because no one went to see that fucking movie.
Really?
Like Green Lantern's
Yeah,
not a big
but
popular character.
but if Green
We
Lantern
love
shows
him. Like
if Green Lantern shows up in Snyder's Justice League cut, and that's as successful as they kind of I think are hoping it will be, that might drive people to keep that subscription and stick around for the Green. Yeah, also, like I mean, if they get this show going, when Snyder Cut drops, they could put a tease for the Green Lantern show at the end of each of those episodes, each of the or parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
They could throw a little tease on there for the Green Lantern show that's coming up. So they could definitely spin that popularity of the Snyder Cut into this. Whether or not they connect them canon wise, I don't know.
That's all going to be up in the air. Like that's the thing. I want the show to be good. I love Green Lantern. Like we all like. I'm sure all of us here are perfectly fine watching a Green Lantern show that focuses on the more ancillary ones because we're all, for the most part, the best Green Lantern stories have indeed already been told, like in some form or another. So like I guess I don't really need to see all these things happen just in a live action setting. You know what I mean? So like it's fine. I just want a good show in the end. I just the way the networks work, people need to be watching the show in order
Yeah.
for it to be a successful show. And if they're going to spend this much money on it, I assume, like I said, they can't just for this big of an effects heavy show. They're going to have to put some money into it. Like
There is going to be a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of effects. It's going to be
yeah,
very.
it's going to have to be some Game of Thrones level money. Like maybe
Yep.
not 20 million per episode, but like 10
10
million.
That's
like,
crazy.
And like maybe that's why they went with the more unknown cast because
That's a big risk to take.
Unknown actors.
I mean, that's a big risk to take if you're dealing with an unknown cast spending that much money on per episode or whatever. I mean, they must have a good story behind it or something. You know, it's just.
I mean, they've had. See, what I would like to see them do since they're actually doing this. This is what I hope. What I hope in some way, and this would be cool. I think it would be cool. As I've thought about it right now, within the last 2 seconds, it sounds cool in my head. You have these other guys, like all the ancillary lanterns here, right? Maybe something like the show starts with like Hal and John, lanterns we know, they get like captured, caught, or they're missing, and it's like a mystery, and the Green Lanterns are like figuring out
They've got to
where they are, what they're
Yeah.
doing. You know, like they just disappear. Maybe there's more cataclysmic events. You know, who knows? Maybe they'll have Red Lanterns in there, and like who knows? Because that's the other thing. It's not just Green Lanterns. Like if they want to go, like this could be like very, very, very effects heavy. If they want to go like Lantern War kind of stuff, and like you got reds, you got oranges, you got blues. Like you got all. They do Blackest Night at some point if this thing's successful. Like you never know. Like it could really go anyway.
You get me too excited, man. You don't get my hopes up, man.
Right. Well, it's got to be good.
If I get Sinestro Corps War in a live action Darkest Night, oh man, Blackest Night. Oh,
That'd be crazy. I mean, like if it's good though, we could get that. I mean, you kind of have Hal and them to do it.
Yeah.
I guess you don't. You could work a way around it, I guess, movie magic, but I don't. I have my hesitations. I feel like in my opinion, I'm still sticking to the fact that I don't think doing something this big without the people you know is the best way to go. You know what I mean? That's kind of my main. That's the perfect example is the X-Men. When they made those X-Men movies, they put Wolverine in it because he was the most popular person.
Yeah.
He was inevitably in the X-Men. He wasn't a big major character in the comics, really, a part of the core team, like at the time. But he became a popular X-Men related character. So X-Men was front and center, or Wolverine was front and center in all those X-Men movies because he was what was popular at the time for the X-Men. So like, and that's why Cyclops took a back seat in all those movies. Like, the leader of the team was not the leader of the team in those movies, just due to popularity. Which it worked. It's the Cyclops didn't work, but the movies were successful. Cyclops was the biggest tragedy with even of like the of all the Fox movies that have come out. The Fox X-Men movies, Fantastic Four, Fan Four Stick, all of it. I think Cyclops and the way he was done is still probably like the biggest betrayal of like my childhood. In all honesty,
such garbage.
Like what they did was like, that was bad time. Like Smoke Cloud Galactus was bad. Like don't get me wrong, but and then like Spider-Man 3 was bad, but like Cyclops was bad for multiple movies, man. And then they just kill him. So like
he was bad.
Like, and James Marsters is a great actor. I would have loved to have actually seen him like do
something.
So yeah, like be Cyclops, dude. Like Writers, let him be Cyclops, man. Anyway, that's it. That's pretty much all. You guys got anything else on the Green Lantern stuff? Because I think I've pretty much spoke about my hesitations for it. I am excited, but all right. Well, question is, guys, what do you think about it? Are you just excited that the Green Lantern show? Because that's another thing too. I guess we didn't touch on besides at the top. Like this show has been in development and like announced. I think back when Justice League was actually coming out, so like 2016. Like they've been talking about actually making the show. I think I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think that's when the first like kind of rumors started about it, and like to this day, they never confirmed it like actually happening. So here's the first official confirmation of it. So, I mean, I'm excited for that alone. They're finally getting some movement on it. One note, just one thing to note too, because we didn't actually talk about this too much at all, really, when we were talking about it. The writer of the Lego Batman movie and Mark Guggenheim are the ones that are leading this. So, just so you guys know, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Lego Batman movie. That movie was
I
pretty.
didn't.
That movie was pretty awesome.
Yes.
So that was like the writing in it was
True.
great. Like it was very good. So that definitely and Mark
I-
Guggenheim has definitely had his ups and his downs too. So
Yeah, very odd choice to go with the guy who wrote the very poorly received Green Lantern movie
right,
to do the Green Lantern show. Now, in the same vein as Jamie Foxx gained redemption on playing Electro again, maybe this is his chance to redeem, who knows
and
what kind of studio involvement was in that Green Lantern movie. So,
well, and he's also had. You could argue that he's kind of had some redemption with Arrow because he
sure,
was like the co-creator of Arrow and everything in that. So like
sure.
that, and Arrow, like I said, that had its ups and downs too. But the initial inception of Arrow, like season 1 and season 2 of Arrow, was like really good. Like,
Yeah.
that was some, like, high quality television at the time, especially for CW. It's so weird, like, 'cause that show was almost like a lighter version of Daredevil, like Netflix Daredevil for season 1 and 2, and then it kinda just did not become that. Then it was Iron Fist.
And as bad as the Green Lantern movie was, it wasn't without any moments that were good. There were some good bits in that Green Lantern
There were
movie.
some things.
Just on a whole, it's an awful movie. But
I think
Yeah.
people give Green Lantern a lot more crap than is needed, because I think the 3rd act is where it all falls apart, but everything up to it isn't all bad. It's not great.
The CGI is just
Ryan
like the
Reynolds,
suit.
Ryan Reynolds plays a good Hal Jordan. Not
He does.
not my ideal Hal Jordan, but he played a very good wisecracking, flight jockey. I mean, that
Yeah.
he played that part very well. It was just
And
and
Taika
Car-
Waititi was his best friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Carol was good, and Blake Lively, she played a good Carol.
Carol
So
Ferris.
Carol Ferris, yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of other
Star
stuff going on
Sapphire.
with it.
Yeah, I really wanted that movie to be successful, and I think Ryan and Taika actually joked about it. Like we're glad that movie wasn't successful because Taika would have continued an acting career instead of becoming a director.
Yeah.
Had it taken off, so
Yeah.
we would have missed out on a lot of good things. So if
That's
that,
true.
Yeah.
So
Very
if
true.
there's anything good to come of that movie sucking, it's the fact that Taika Waititi stopped acting. He was
Well,
funny as
and-
hell.
He
in
still
the
kinda
movie,
does
though.
it.
He was great.
and Ryan Reynolds didn't get shoehorned into the role of Green Lantern and was able to go and do the Deadpool movie. So
True.
Yeah.
True.
So if anything, I would love for Ryan Reynolds to come back and get his redemption. Like, because I think
Yeah.
I talked about this with Rick before. Like, I could see Ryan coming back if Warner Brothers was like, just do your thing, dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
we saw what you did with Deadpool. Do it again for Green Lantern. Just like
Give us success.
go and do it. Go get Rhett Reese and Warnick, the writers that were with he did Deadpool with, and just make a Green Lantern movie for us. Like, make it good. And
Yeah.
I'm sure he would do it at that point. I don't see why he wouldn't. Like, because if he gets full creative control, that's what everybody would want. And like, in my opinion, I would trust him to do that. Like, of all the things to trust Ryan Reynolds with, that's a pretty good one. Like,
Yep.
he's already proven what he can do. So, but anyways, guys, again, question is, what do you guys think? Again, it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm excited. We're all kind of excited. I guess skeptical, questionable, need more details at this time. But whatever you guys think, let us know down in the comment section below.